presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the Oklahoma Sports Network's consent is prohibited. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be used without express written consent.
Well, welcome to Too Familia. It is the site of the Cameron Basketball Coaches Show. This is our second edition already, in case you didn't join us for our first, for the inaugural kickoff of the season. And then, of course, we're going to track it all the way through to the very end. Joining us here in the panel, I guess, is Steve Adams, the voice of the Cameron Aggies for both the men and women, and our ladies basketball coach. And we're going to exciting night because we got coaches and players, and we got Cameron basketball to talk about tonight.
Thank you, Eric. It is a great night here at Too Familia in Lawton at the corner of 2nd and Lee, which is one of two intersections that has no road construction in town. So glad you're joining us on the Oklahoma Sports Network. And we'll just start off. We're going to visit with women's coach Jeff Mahoney, and then Kevin O'Connor, the men's coach, will be along in just a few minutes. Well, Coach, a lot's happened since our first broadcast. Season has started. We've played some games. We know a little bit more about our teams. You, however, had a kind of an unfortunate way to start the season. Women were scheduled to play in Colorado Springs for back in first part of November 8th and 9th. You headed out, you were driving, and you didn't get there, did you?
No, we actually left a day early trying to beat the snow. We knew there was a chance of snow. And every time we go to Colorado, it seems like it snows. And so we left a day early on Wednesday, and we got to Raton, and the Raton Pass started to snow, and it got dark, and wind was blowing. That snow was blowing sideways, and so we decided we would stop and get up and travel it during the daylight. But we were there for 3 nights. We couldn't come back home. We couldn't go on. We literally were snowed in a hotel. 2 nights we had to have food delivered to us because you couldn't get in or out. So
I heard you didn't even get to practice in a high school gym like you would like to have because you couldn't even do that.
Yeah, no, that was my plan the first night. I thought, not a big deal. Tomorrow we'll go work out at Raton High School. And we tried to call in all day, and nobody answered. And finally we went to eat lunch. There was a bus driver sitting in there. He said, nobody's there, but, hey, I got the number of the AD, and he's a really good guy. I'll probably let you in. I said, there's a foot of snow out here. I said, I don't care how good a guy is. He's probably not going to get out of his warm house. So, but, yeah, it was, we spent a lot of time bonding and stuff, but it was a difficult time. We just couldn't do anything. The Holiday Inn there didn't have much of a weight room or a workout room, and so it was stressful because we didn't know for a couple of days whether we were going to be able to go ahead and try to make one game or both games or reschedule. And finally, about 4 o'clock on Saturday evening, we were able to go south, which was about 2 hours out of the way, but we were able to go south back to Las Vegas, New Mexico, and down to Tucumcari and come back in that way. And we got back in about midnight on Sunday, so not the ideal trip to start your year out, for sure.
For those who don't know, the Raton Pass is that on the interstate between New Mexico and Colorado. It's in the mountains. It's a windy road. It's up, it's down. They got paths for runaway trucks to go up when their brakes wear out. I got stopped there one time with rocks falling, slide. So nobody, and when you had a 20 or 30 mile an hour wind and snow, nobody can blame you for the decision you made, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, the lady that checked us in, she asked me, said, do you want it for 1 night, 2 nights, or 3 nights? And I literally laughed at her and said, we'll just be here 1 night, ma'am. But she was right. We were there 3 nights. But, it was so bad. They had 70 vehicles stranded between Clayton and Raton that come in after us that didn't make it through. And then there were tour buses sitting in McDonald's parking lot, and there wasn't any hotels to be had. So the people were sleeping in the buses in the McDonald's parking lot. So yeah, it was quite a trip.
Well, the girls will certainly remember that trip, but for no good reasons, huh?
Yeah, it really I've never seen it snow for 60 hours straight, and big flakes. We look at it out the window and just like, is it ever going to quit snowing? But it finally did, and the sun came out, and the snow plows got it cleared off, and we got back home.
and a few days later, we finally got the season started against Harding, a very good basketball team. Well, we went to East Central and beat them. We lost a tough one to Southeastern and then rebounded and beat Northwestern. So your team is 2-2, but you missed out on playing 2 games. How much does that affect you at this point?
I don't think, at the time I would have liked to have played those 2 games. But where we're at right now, I think we're probably where we would have been had we played the 2 games as far as, shape and things like that. Because you get Thanksgiving in there, and last year – we went to Denver and played 2 games over Thanksgiving to try to not have the break. And it snowed on us up there, and it was tough. And we played 2 really good teams. And so we came back 2-4 at this time last year. So I think really we're, when the second when Thanksgiving ends and you start the Lone Star, now you're going to start into a regular schedule where you're playing regularly. You play on Thursday, play again on Saturday, travel, and those things. So you kind of get in a routine, and really that's the biggest thing is just trying to get back into a routine of going to school and practicing and things like that.
Well, let's talk about a couple of these games. First, the Southeastern game. It's a close game in the first quarter, and then they score like 11 straight to end the quarter. And we never recovered from that. We played them even the rest of the way. We got it down to 7 in the fourth quarter, but we just couldn't get over that one hump, could we?
Yeah, they came in and they run a lot of 5-out stuff, and they had a lot of returners from last year, and they shot the ball really well. And yeah, we just couldn't ever get over the hump. We felt like we didn't start real well, and we just had a hard time keeping them off the glass. We had a hard time finishing shots, and we kind of went back to work and we played really well this last 3 quarters against Northwestern. Northwestern's got a really good ball club. They're picked, I think, 4th in the GAC, and a lot of experienced kids back. And so that was a really good win for us. Crowd was unbelievable that night. That's the other thing is our crowd support so far has been really, really good for us and the men. So we hope to keep that up.
Well, that Northwestern game, we're down 10 points at the half, and you think, well, if we can get it down to 6 at the 5-minute mark or down to 2 at the end of the quarter. We just came out and scored like 14 straight points to start the second half. It was a great quarter. We outscored them 23-10. The threes were falling. Everybody seemed like stepped up and hit a 3 for us. That was we had 10 or 11 threes in that game. I mean, that second half, we scored 51 points. That was just unbelievable.
Yeah, we didn't make a whole lot of adjustments. We just quit moving and talked about where the ball needed to go, honestly. And the kids did a good job of finding each other and knocking down shots and things like that. And we started guarding them a little better, trying to stay in front of them. Like I said, we had to play well. They shot right at 50%, and it wasn't like they didn't play well. If we hadn't have really, really played well in the second half, we wouldn't have beat them. And so I was proud of the kids and their perseverance, with that.
Well, I'll say this. I know you had to bring a lot of new players in, but you brought in players that can make free throws. We were 15 of 16 in the fourth quarter from the free throw line. That's just unbelievable.
Yeah, we're really proud of the kids stepping up and making free throws, and they've shot them really well every ball game. But they do it in practice too, and we do have a good group of shooters. The 2 games that we've won, we've hit 10 and 11 threes. The 2 games that we didn't win, we just didn't shoot it in the hole for whatever reason. And so, we feel like if we get open looks and the ball goes in and then comes back out, that we'll make as many as we miss.
We're shooting about 39% of our shots are three-pointers. Is that what you want?
I think it kind of depends from game to game. We one of our goals is to get the ball in the paint, whether it be through the pass or through the dribble. And I think if the ball gets inside and then it comes back out, you've got a little rhythm, and it puts the defense in a little bit of a scramble situation. And so I wouldn't say that we're necessarily just hunting threes. But I do think that the ball goes in and people collapse on you, and it comes back out. And our post kids, Shamika and Aubrey especially, are doing a really good job of finding our shooters in practice. They're really, the last week or so, have really been finding kids on the perimeter. And so I think everybody's starting to trust each other a little more, and so that's always good to see.
And Shamika Smith seems to have really stepped up her game a little bit too, from last year. She is our leading scorer and doing a good job on the boards too.
Yeah, she's really the only kid that we returned that played a lot of minutes, and so she didn't feel like she played as well early in the first few games as she needed to, and so we challenged her a little bit, and she is starting to really blossom and do the things that we knew she could do coming into her senior year.
All right, coming up Thursday, we go on the road. We start our Lone Star Conference action with West Texas A&M, and then we go to Eastern New Mexico. It's a little different travel schedule this year. A couple of teams. West Texas picked by the way, Cameron women picked 9th in the preseason poll for the Lone Star Conference. West Texas was 5th, and Eastern New Mexico right behind us at 9th. So, they're saying that's a team we should beat. West Texas might give us some trouble, but, how do you feel about this going into this trip?
Well, first off, West Texas is a chore. They play really well. They'll be 2,500 to 3,000 people in the stands. I saw they're doing a promotion where they're half price admissions and having kids free, and so they're really doing a lot to try to get that thing packed out for us. I think
they're gunning for our men. Is
what I think. That's what I didn't want to throw that out there. I didn't want to throw that out there with Kevin sitting over there. But yeah, but we've beat them as much as they beat us. Since I've been at Cameron, we're about 500 with each other. But they are really tough out there, and they're like I think 6-2, but they've only played one road game. And so they're hard to beat at home. They've got a lot of D1 kids that have transferred in there, and they'll be a handful for us. And then Eastern, their only loss on the road was to Eastern. Eastern beat them a couple weeks ago. And so, Eastern's very athletic. Coach Huber has done a good job, and he's got those kids playing hard and playing well. So both those games on the road will be a handful for sure.
All right. And then in about a month, we'll come back and talk about them and a whole bunch of other stuff we're doing with Cameron basketball. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll visit with the head men's basketball coach here at Cameron University, Kevin O'Connor, right after this on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
Back with the Cameron Basketball Coaches Show at Too Familiar Restaurant in Lawton. I'm Steve Adams. With me now, Kevin O'Connor, the head men's basketball coach here at Cameron University. And, Coach, we talked to Coach Mahoney about his trip to Colorado Springs. You guys flew out there. Was that something that was planned all along? Was that a last-minute change, or how did that come about?
We planned that out in the summer. That we got a decent rate from Southwest, ran a birthday promotion, and we're able to get some decently priced flights, so that's what we did, and we flew over the storms instead of through them like Jeff tried to do.
So is that something, so that kind of thing, you hear about, they flew, that fits, wasn't a huge hit on the budget. You were able to pull that off without any trouble then, that financially, I guess. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, we're going to figure it out.
Okay. Well, you go out there and you lose a couple of tough games, and you lose one at home to Adams State, but then you come back with 3 straight wins. So we're 3-3. How do you feel at this point right now getting ready for conference play?
Feel better than when we were 0-3. But we're starting to figure it out. The season's a process. I want to win every game we play, so I wasn't happy starting 0-3, but I feel like we're playing some decent basketball right now, coming off a good win against Southwestern Oklahoma and 3 straight, and now got 2 of the tougher road trips or road games in the league with Eastern New Mexico and West Texas. West Texas lost 1 game at home in conference last year, and Eastern New Mexico only lost to West Texas at home last year. So, we're going to have to go out there and we're going to have to play well.
It's early in the season. It's November. Do you worry about, a loss at University of Colorado Springs, or a loss to Adams State? That may affect regional rankings come the end of February. I mean, are those thoughts in your mind at this point of the season?
It's a factor. We can't change anything now. We still got a lot of opportunity and a lot of games that we can win ahead of us, and that's what we have to focus on. And we can't change how we started the season, but we can change how we play going forward. And that's the blessing and the curse of the Lone Stars, that there's going to be a lot of opportunity for some resume building wins, and every game is going to be tough here on out. So we're excited for the opportunity.
Well, that 3-game winning streak, kind of a close game with Northwestern Oklahoma State, 89-85. You had some good scoring in there. Aaron Jacob, 23 points. He's kind of starting to come on, shooting the ball for you in the last couple of games. How do you feel about him? And, of course, you got Lavelle, who's back from last year, and Reggie and Jackson Ingram's playing real well. I look at the makeup of this team, and I say, it looks pretty strong to me.
Yeah, it was, I put a lot of pressure or expectations on our seniors to play well, and not saying blame them by any means when things didn't go well, but I just expect them to play well. They've played well for our program, and for those 3 seniors played for me at Murray State too. So I know what they can do, so they can take it when I call them out, and they've responded. Especially all 3 of them have, especially Reggie against Southwestern. Jackson really since the first game has been phenomenal, and Lavelle's been pretty consistent, and he's starting to come along too. So just got to keep stringing wins together.
Well, a lot of times when you take players off the bench and put them in, and you take your scorers out of the game, the question is, well, where's the scoring going to come from? But you got a couple of guys off the bench, Jamar Johnson, and even Miles Gursky had a big game off the bench the other night for you as well.
Yeah, Miles really played well against Western Colorado. He was the first guy to really see the ball go through the net, and we needed that. I told the guys it just takes one guy to get hot and then relieve some of that pressure, the weight off of our shoulders, and he was the guy who stepped up as a sophomore and got that done, so I was proud to see him do that. And he took a pretty hard fall in practice last week and had a hip pointer, so he didn't play against Southwestern, but he's looked good in practice, and expect him to be full go going forward, so excited to have him back. And yeah, Jarmel Johnson, he's played extremely well off the bench, really strong physical kid, gets to the free throw line, can shoot the ball too, so excited to get out there and play again, get the Thanksgiving
blahs over.
Yeah, get that over with and get to the games.
So now let me ask you, at the end of the Southwestern game, we're ahead 89-60. There's 12 seconds left. All we got to do is dribble out the basketball, but they're pressuring the basketball. So we make a couple of passes and get a layup at the buzzer. Does that bother you, or do you rather we not taking that shot at the end? Or as a coach, how do you feel about that?
I mean, you got to respect the 40 minutes, and I respect. I'd coach it the same way. I don't have any hesitation. If they're gonna play, we'll keep playing, and I think that's competitive spirit. And it's not, if they had backed off and everybody was in the paint and they're walking to their bench, and then you shouldn't take a shot. But if we're gonna keep playing, let's keep playing.
And Andre Yama got a basket out of the deal, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, and it's always good to see those guys off the bench, and not just the 2 we just talked about, but the other players that come off the bench. And get some good playing time for you and put the ball in the hoop, and that always helps them too, doesn't it? That next day in practice.
Yeah, definitely, because those guys will be called on at some point during the season, when it really, really matters, and to get some game experience and prove to yourself that you can do it. And they all play well in practice, and they do some good things, and they're college basketball players, and they're here for a reason, all those guys. So I'm not surprised and happy to see it, and proud of the guys before them for building a lead and kind of giving them that opportunity to go out there and showcase it a little bit.
Now, Lone Star Conference is just a little different this year. No Western New Mexico. Is that correct?
We played Western New Mexico at home.
Got them at home. So It's not part of the Eastern New Mexico. Who do they travel with, since they don't travel with Eastern New Mexico anymore?
Sol Ross.
Yep,
Alpine.
Okay, so we have a new team. So we've got, 17 teams in the league, 18 teams in the league now?
16-team schedule, so 17.
Okay. So it's a little different. Some of the scheduling is a little different, too. I noticed we've got a Sunday game in there. It seems like last year it was always Thursday, Saturday, but we've got some Friday, Saturday. We've got
right around
Sunday games.
Right around the New Year, I think, is our Sunday game, and it's just where the New Year falls, and that's happened before. And we are playing first when we play Angelo State at home. We're playing at 5:30, and the women are playing at 7:30, just to help with Angelo State's travel, because we had to move that game because of finals week. And they asked if the men could play first, and we.
Okay.
Yeah, if we're moving the game because of us, we had to meet them halfway. So another schedule change for you.
Okay, but regardless, then after that, it's all Thursday, Saturday for the rest of the season. What we're used to seeing from the Lone Star Conference.
Yep.
So we talked just a minute ago. Coach Mahoney was talking about West Texas and the big crowd, and you guys went into there last year in the conference basketball tournament, Lone Star Conference tournament, and beat West Texas in the first round. That was a huge win for this program, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good win. That was last year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different players. They had a lot of different players. We got a lot of different players, and it's a new year.
Because of that, though, it really helped that we almost got in on the regional rankings. We just kind of missed out on making the regional playoffs, didn't? But that win was a big part of that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it put us in a position. I think we were one game short, but that one game could be a game in November, like we talked about. It could be a game in December. They're all. Just like in every game, like the first possession to me is as important as the last possession, but everybody looks to the last possession, whether it goes your way or it doesn't. So,
we had one of those already where the last possession didn't go our way, didn't we?
Sure did, Steve.
So that was kind of tough. Well, all right, so Thursday you'll be at West Texas, and then Saturday you go to Eastern New Mexico. Those will be a couple of challenges for you, won't they?
Yeah, life on the road is tough in the Lone Star, and truthfully, it's what separates playoff teams from non-playoff teams as far as the Lone Star goes. You got to take care of business at home, and you got to go out there and try to win as many road games as you can. And the teams that do that finish in the top 8, and the teams that can't win on the road usually don't. So we gotta play well.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll visit some of the Cameron basketball players. Right after this, it's the Cameron Basketball Coaches Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
We're back at Too Familiar for the Cameron Basketball Coaches Show. Visiting with us now is Grace Alverson. And she's going solo today.
Yeah.
Grace, the first thing I have to do is apologize to you. In the first game, I kept saying Alverson. And I looked at it and I said, there's only one L, so it has to be Alverson. So my apologies to you or your family if they commented on that. So you are from Argyle, Texas. Tell us, where is Argyle?
Well, I'm actually from Denton, Texas,
but
I went to school in Argyle, Texas.
Okay.
So Liberty Christian is in Argyle, which is like 20 minutes from Denton. So that's why it says Argyle, but yeah.
Okay. So in high school, tell us a little bit about your high school career. I assume you were a starter, 2, 3, 4 years? What happened?
Yeah, 3 years. Not my freshman year, but the rest of the years. We had my senior year. We were supposed to win state, but then my twin got injured, and then we had 3 starters that got injured, and that was kind of the only year that we were probably ever going to get close to it. But yeah.
You have a twin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. And does she play? I guess she was playing.
She did, and she played at Southeastern with me, but then she didn't take her 5th year.
Okay. So you left when you graduated. You went straight to Southeastern?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Were there other schools? Were there other parts of that process for you, or just looking at them?
Yeah, no, not really. Just Southeastern, because they were gonna we were gonna go together.
Okay.
So, and that was one of the only schools that we could go together. So that's why we chose there.
So, you played 4 years there?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
So you had an extra year. How did you have an extra year? Did you redshirt?
COVID.
We're still dealing with COVID players.
I was a COVID freshman.
You're
yeah.
a COVID freshman.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, why did you choose to come to Cameron then?
I emailed Coach Mo while I was looking at schools, and I didn't want to move too far from where I was, and Lawton was not that far.
Yeah. And
when I emailed Coach Mo, I was like he wasn't even looking at me, but I was like, hey, this is who I am. You can look me up. You can look on Synergy. You can watch everything about me, and if you want to talk, just email me back, whatever. And he did, and I came up here, and we had a really good visit. My parents loved the place and loved the coaching staff, and I didn't expect much on the visit since I reached out to him, but after that, it was just kind of a done deal for me to come here.
So, did you finish a degree at Southeastern?
No, I didn't.
So, what are you finishing your degree in?
Sports and exercise science.
Okay, which I guess a lot of the players do.
Yeah, it's like half, more than half. Yeah.
So that's kind of convenient, isn't it?
Yeah, very. Yeah.
Helps you. Now, I used to tease the girls all the time. I said, so one of you goes to class and everyone else sleeps in? Is that how that works?
We could, I mean.
But then the coaches always say, no, they don't let that happen. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I know, having taught at Cameron and been an advisor, that you transfer, sometimes you lose credits. So are you online? Is this going to happen? You're going to walk across, get that degree by the end of the year?
Yeah, that was another big thing for me with transferring is coming to Cameron would allow me to do that and get that done in the amount of time that I wanted it to be done. And so yeah, I can. It took a little bit, and a little bit of pushing, but my advisor got everything that I needed through. So
that's great. Okay, so we played Southeastern earlier in the year. That was kind of a tough one to lose, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that post-game handshake?
Well, I knew that most of his Coach Grover's game plan was going to be not let me touch the ball, and that's what they did. So it wasn't playing them do what they did wasn't a surprise to me at all, and it was a tough game. But yeah, it wasn't. I'm still friends with all those girls, so it wasn't. Sure. It wasn't anything bad. There's nothing wrong there. So.
Okay, so against Northwestern, tough. We did not have a very good first half. We're down 13. You hit a 3 right at the end of the first half, make it a 10-point deficit.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of went all Caitlin Clark in the third quarter there. Is that what we should expect to see? You had 5 3-pointers in the game, I think. I think you had 3 or 4 in that third quarter. We outscored them 23-10, and we had a huge run to start the half. Is that what we can expect from Grace Alverson the rest of the year? Or is that your game, basically?
Yeah. I mean, I shoot a lot of threes, but I also expect to make a lot of threes. And I think Coach Mo gives me the green light to, score, and he wants me to score. And so, however best I can do that as efficiently as I can for the team is, how I'm going to do that depending game by game.
So not only did you knock down threes, but then it's got contagious, didn't it?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Like 4 or 5 different players, I think, made threes in that game. And in some cases, they're second of the year or their first 3 of the year. So that was kind of a good feeling, wasn't it, from the whole team?
Yeah, it was. Every time I saw that ball go up, I was like, oh, my. Like, please go in. And it went in. It was that was our best quarter we've played so far.
Yeah.
So I think, going forward, just coming out with that kind of intensity instead of how we've started every other game is, what we need to do.
So we got a couple of Lone Star Conference games coming up on the road to start the conference. What have you heard? You've talked to some of the players from last year. What have they told you about? Oh, we got to go to West Texas. We got to go to Eastern New Mexico. What have you heard? What are you expecting?
I mean, I've heard West Texas is a hard place to play at, but I feel like away games are away games. Like, every team, there's something about every team when you play home, I mean, if people come to Cameron, they probably say something about Cameron after they leave. So yeah. I just think, I'm new to the Lone Star Conference, but they're basketball games. So, it's what we need to win. And I don't think it'll be different from the GAC, but it's still basketball. So.
Okay. The question I wanted to ask is I've talked to, of course, you played at Southwest, so you played in a lot of different gyms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've had several players tell me that floor at Cameron University is one of the best floors I've ever played on. Do you notice that?
I really like our gym, yeah.
Yeah.
I love the Cameron gym. Mm-hmm.
It has some give to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Grace, thanks for visiting with us.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to a lot more three-pointers, big games from you. That game the other night was just a really important game for this team to get started well, and you were a big part of getting that started for us.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll visit with some of the basketball players on the men's Cameron basketball team right after this on the Lone Star Conference, on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
Tell me when. Okay, we're back with the Cameron Basketball Coaches Show. Visiting with us now, we have 3 players from the Cameron men's basketball team. On my left is Lavelle Broadnex. Sitting next to me is Cody McStraw. And on my far right is Xavion Oko. Xavion, I'm going to start with you. Your last name Oko. Last year we had an Ocone. So I accused Coach of trying to just mess me up, by recruiting you. You are a junior from Mount Pleasant, Texas. I actually know where Mount Pleasant, Texas is. It's out in eastern Texas. what was that like? You know, growing up, it's kind of a small town, though, isn't it?
Yes, sir. It's like real country. Like we got cows and pastures, stuff like that.
Okay, so what was basketball like at Mount Pleasant for you?
Basketball was fun. We my senior year we went 27-1.
Oh.
And we lost to the number 2 team in state.
Like in the state finals or the quarterfinals? Quarterfinals. Ooh, I bet that was a tough loss, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we lost by 2.
You went to Collin Community College?
Yes,
now,
sir.
where is that?
That's in Plano, Dallas, north of Dallas.
Okay.
That was my sophomore year.
And so that was your sophomore year. What did you do your freshman year?
I went to Evansville, Indiana.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And what was the decision that, first of all, led you to Evansville?
My coaches got fired.
Okay.
Evansville. I thought you meant college.
Yeah.
Evansville. It just felt like home. Like, for real, like the coaches really liked me, and they promised me a lot of stuff. And then a week after I signed, they got fired.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
So you were already there for a year. So then you transferred to Collin Community College?
Yes, sir.
And you were there 1 year?
Yes, sir.
So you came now to Cameron. What was involved in that decision?
Just the area, like close to home, and coach made it feel like a family here, so I wanted to be a part of it.
Okay. So when you came in, did you know any of the other players here? Or did you run across them?
No, sir.
So what's that been like? You know, acclimating yourself in with a whole bunch of new teammates.
Well, it's only 3 returners now, so like everybody had to meet everybody and get to know everybody. But the returners made it feel a family here, and like they just welcome us all in.
So you've been starting every game. You're averaging about 9 points, but you're second on the team in assists and you're third in steals. You know, what do you see as your role at this point on the team?
Just to be a defensive anchor mostly. I can look to score when I need to, but like just guard the best defender from the other team.
Okay, so you that's your job is to take on their best player. Okay, you know. We've lost a couple of close games. You know, when you guys go into the locker room after the game, do you all talk about these things amongst yourself? You know, what went wrong, what you need to do to improve and get better?
Yes, sir, because Coach always give us a good game plan. We just got to execute it better with the tough losses, and we just got to come back the next day ready to work.
Okay. Well, I've seen bits and pieces of a few practices, and I can attest you all do work.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Xavion. Cody McStraw, a freshman from Sydney, Australia.
Yeah.
Okay. You just woke up one day and said, I think I'll go to Lawton, Oklahoma.
No, I did not. So growing up, I always wanted to play college basketball. And then after I graduated high school, I came over here in May to play AAU. Coach, along with other scouts that knew the club I was coming over, came and watched our games, and then I think he liked enough of what he saw, and then we got in touch, and I decided to come to Cameron.
So, were there other coaches calling you and trying to recruit you?
I had, because I only just turned 18, so I should be in high school back home. There was a bunch of post-grad opportunities, but I felt like I was going back a step if I was to play kids already in high school. And there was like 6 or 7 other colleges, but Coach came to a school, had a winning environment and a good pace, which I like to play fast, so that's what kind of sold me on the school.
Okay, so you're from Australia. Brody McWhinney's from Australia.
Yeah.
So you're from Sydney, he's from Melbourne. I know Australia is a huge country. Yeah. It's a continent, for crying out loud. Yeah. How far apart are those two towns, those two cities?
It's an hour-and-a-half flight, but an 8-hour drive.
Oh, okay, so you never ran into Brody in your AAU days or anything like that?
I would have run into his club, Keilor, but he's 2 years older than me, so we never would have played against each other.
Okay, but it's kind of nice having someone else from Australia, isn't it?
It's like additionally to like seeing all the team, knowing that there was another Aussie on the team, knew that it would be another place where I could fit in easily.
Yeah. We had a player on the women's team a few years ago, Megan Hedge. Yeah. And she used to always talk about Tim Tams. Is that?
Yeah. Tim Tams.
Hey, Eric and I finally shamed her into giving us some since we heard so much about them.
Yeah.
So are there other things like that really, maybe you and Brody can talk about Tim Tams and everyone else goes, what the heck are they talking about?
Yeah, I think it's just mainly the way we talk. Some of the slang we use, no one really understands what we're talking about, but it's kind of fun when people have no idea.
So does your family get an opportunity to watch the games online?
Yeah, my dad's very proud of me because I'm the first person ever to go straight to uni outside high school in my family.
Oh, wow.
So every game he's been watching and texting me, and my mom and my sister, when they have free time outside their jobs, they've been watching the games.
Great. Okay. So I know it's expensive to fly back and forth. So do you think when do you think you'll be able to go home next?
I'll be going home next in the summer, so I'll stay over the winter break and figure something out, whether it's a teammate, a coach's house, or trying to go somewhere. But yeah, I'll only go back for the summer break.
Okay. So you're averaging about 8 minutes a game when you get in. Do you ever go to the coach and say, hey, what do I got to do to get more playing time?
Well, in our individual meetings with Coach, he's told me what I need to do and what I need to focus on. But my main role, I feel like, is just to come off the bench and be a spark plug. I can score, I can defend, I can play make, but I think my priority is to play make for others, and that just brings energy to the entire team.
Well, you're fourth on the team in assists.
Yeah.
And so, that's a pretty good indication that you're fulfilling that role then.
Yeah.
So you're a freshman. You're going to hopefully be here for another 3 years. Do you feel comfortable with where you are right now with your game and everything?
I feel like every month I've been here, I've suddenly gotten better, and hopefully that just continues every single year.
All right, Cody McStraw from Sydney, Australia. Thanks for visiting with us.
Thank you.
And on my left is Lavelle Broadnex. How are you?
I'm doing good.
This says you're a junior. Is that right?
Actually a senior.
So okay. So this is your last year of eligibility.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. I like maybe. You're from Saginaw, Michigan.
Yes.
So what was your route to get to Lawton, Oklahoma?
My senior year of high school, I came out to a prep school in Richmond, Texas, I think. And I was playing against junior college, and I ended up playing against O'Connor when he was at Murray State.
Ah.
Then I ended up having 30, and then he had offered me right after the game. So then I was talking to him when it was time to commit and stuff, and then I just felt like everything he was telling me, like, it sounded good, and it was true. Like everything he told me, it was what it was. Mm-hmm. So I ended up, when I came there, I did a year there, and then I ended up getting offered from Wagner, and I ended up going to Wagner a year. Didn't play that much, so I ended up entering the portal, and then I knew I wanted to come play for O'Connor again, so I ended up coming to Cameron.
Okay, great. So what are you majoring in? What do you hope to get that degree?
Sports and exercise science.
Okay, so you're in the same classes with all the other players, aren't you? That's got to be convenient, I would think. Okay. My favorite play is to watch Lavelle run the baseline and watch Reggie lob that ball out to the hoop and watch another slam. You guys have perfected that play.
Yeah, we've been having that good chemistry since our freshman year.
So is that, do you actually practice that, or you don't have to bother with it anymore?
It just was, since it was like first day of, I think we had our first pickup at Murray. It was just like, he threw a first lob, and it's just been that ever since.
Well, we saw it a lot last year, and we're already seeing it this year again. Like I say, that's my favorite thing to see. Last year you guys were picked last in the conference. You obviously did a lot better than that. Yeah. But when you get picked last, are you wondering, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into?
Yeah.
Were you wondering about that?
No, because the group of guys that I was surrounded around last year, we all like used to being picked last, like even like wherever we was playing at, like even throughout high school, like we always used to being picked last. So we just have a chip on our shoulder to go out and just show everybody wrong.
So that was real gratifying to go into Canyon last year and beat West Texas in the first round of the conference tournament.
Yeah.
I'll bet. Do you feel pressure to do even better this year?
I really don't feel pressure at all. I just know I got to go out and compete at a high level every night.
So is there anything you feel like you need to improve on as far as getting better?
My shooting. And I know I want to be a better rebounder and a better defender this year. So, but I feel like I'm being a better defender right now.
Yeah, you're 3 for 17 from the three-point line.
Yeah.
Is that something you want to work on?
Yeah, I just had to see one go through the net. That was it. That's all.
Yeah, I watched and practiced a couple times, and you all run that drill where 3 guys are running up one side of the court and 3 guys running the other side, and somebody gets a layup and the other 2 have to shoot threes, and it's just constant the whole time. Does that really prepare you for? Is that a game-like situation, really?
Yeah, because we do it. We work on it every day, so it's more like just transition shots, more focusing on making shots too.
Okay, so we've got Lone Star Conference action starts Thursday against West Texas. How do you feel about going into that game?
We just got to be ready. I know they know we gonna come. Well, I know they gonna come in prepared, like ready to get back or whatever. But I know we just got to be prepared, stick to the coach game plan, just go out there, like Zay said, and execute everything that he telling us to do.
And like Coach said, that was last year. You know,
yes.
what happened last year really doesn't count anymore, does it?
Nah.
So you got to go out. You got 2 really tough games to start conference. Well, boy, picking up a couple of wins would really elevate things, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Lavelle Broadnex, thanks for visiting with us. And Cody and Javion, thank you. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back in just a moment on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
We're back on the Cameron Basketball Coaches Show. It's time for Rules of the Game. Coach Mahoney, I'm going to start with you.
Oh, boy.
In our last game, we had a player called for a foul, for lack of a better term, for flopping.
Right.
Is this new for the college game?
It is.
Explain
actually,
the rule and what's going on with that.
It actually, for the women, yes. The year before, I think they tried it with the men, and that they give the flop deal, but it was an automatic tee, I believe, and which was so tough because, and so then they went back the next year, and now it's a warning, and then a tee. So, but yeah, that first year that they enacted it with the men, I mean, it was there was tees everywhere, because you got to give a little bit. If somebody's fixing a freight train, you got to go with it, and But the other day, we had one there in the lane, and they called a flop and warned us. The next one would have been a tee.
So, did you go back and look at that to see?
Yeah, there was contact.
Yeah. So, is that enough to have contact?
It's a judgment call for them. They're not going to go back. It's just a judgment call, and they're either, if they warn you, it's a warning. The next one.
So if there's no contact, you can understand that.
Right. That's what the design. In high school it used to be a technical. If you faked taking a charge and flopped, for lack of a better word, it was a technical foul. But now they've changed it to a flop instead of calling it a fake fall. Okay. And so it's a judgment call, honestly.
Okay. And it's such a physical game, especially on the men's side. I just see so much contact and say, well, that could have been a foul. That could have been a foul that doesn't get called. You're almost surprised that we don't see more of that. Yeah,
and the thing is, Kevin, their game, kids are so up in the air so much. The game's played above the rim, and a kid that it's hard enough to get them to stand in front and take one, and if you take one, you want it called. And if you call one and it happens again, it's a charge again. If there's 4 or 5 charges in a game, then there's 4 or 5 charges in a game. I think that's the frustrating thing from a coach is, you get 1 or 2 legitimate charges and it's like all of a sudden, well, we've called 2, don't call any more. So, but yeah, that's it's part of the game. I mean, we're all dealing with it. So
okay, Coach O'Connor, this probably may be a little easier for you.
All right.
And I haven't seen it much this year, but one of the frustrating things that I get is when a player's holding the ball and then they go to move and the ball's leaving their hand and then we get a whistle, they're called for traveling. Does the ball have to leave their hand? Does the ball have to hit the floor first before? What's going on there when they call that?
That's a pretty vague question. Travel is a judgment call. Could be called a lot more or a lot less. I mean, it can be, if it looks like a travel, sometimes the refs call it. If it doesn't, they don't call it. I mean, it's a judgment call, and the refs have a tough job.
Yeah.
I should be nicer to them.
But I'm just saying, if I'm holding the ball and I go to dribble, does the ball have to leave my hand before my foot moves? Or
it all depends on your pivot foot. So, like if your left foot's your pivot foot, and you're taking a step with your right foot, the ball has to be decked before your left foot comes up.
Decked mean on the floor?
Dribbled. Yep.
Oh, it has to be on the floor. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, then sometimes that makes sense. Maybe seeing that call.
Yeah.
It always frustrates me when I see that call because they say, it's such a finite kind of thing.
I like it when the other team does it. I don't like it when we do it.
But I haven't seen it call that much this year. So are we figuring that out, I guess, maybe?
We got to turn it over a lot less, Steve.
Yeah, I understand. Well, it's going to be an interesting next few weeks. Lone Star Conference action starts. Again, we've talked about this road trip, West Texas and Eastern New Mexico. It's going to be it's going to be tough on both sides, both for the men and the women. These are good programs we're going up against, and are we ready to go?
Yeah, we're ready. We finished practice right at like 5:30 before we came over here, so gonna get on the road, get to Canyon tomorrow, check into the hotel, and practice in their gym tomorrow evening, and tip it up on Thursday night.
Same kind of travel schedule for you?
Yeah, we're chartering with the men. We charter with the men, and so it's almost exactly the same. Matter of fact, Kevin and I and the assistants, they have to do a good job of correlating eating and things like that. But it's better than us driving.
Amen.
Just curious because, I'm sure at larger programs in baseball we always talked about the traveling secretary who booked all the plane flights and the hotels and the meals, and as you get to this level at the university. Who does that? You guys have to do that?
You're looking at a traveling secretary.
You're looking at the Dobos right here.
So that takes a lot of time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that probably, from your standpoint, the fact that you're working without an assistant coach, that probably a full-time assistant coach, that probably affects you quite a bit, doesn't it?
Nope, we get it figured out, Steve.
Okay, all right, great.
Yeah, I would say Kevin and I really work well together, and if you didn't, it would be tough.
Yeah.
But we're really easy to work with on practice time, shoot-around times, and our assistants do a great job, and the GAs, his GAs are on top of everything, and they've been here now, so they kind of know where we're going and what to eat, and they do a good job of it. That takes a lot off our plate, but yeah, it is. The itinerary is, you have to be flexible. Let me put it that way. You have to be flexible.
I understand. Well, okay. Well, any final words from either one of you?
Tune into Flow Sports Thursday night, 7:30 Central Time. Support the Aggies.
All right.
Yep. Like I said, and be there next week when we come back home. That's a big thing. Is let's fill that place up.
All right. We're gonna do that for her, Dan. Okay. Well, that's gonna do it here from Me Familiar.
Too Familiar.
Too Familiar. Me Familiar. Well,
it's two.
It's two. For Eric Sherem, our producer, for Coach Jeff Mahoney, and for Coach Kevin O'Connor. I'm Steve Adams. This has been the Cameron Basketball Coaches Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network.